Today on All Sports Central, we'll be going over my 2019 Week 3 rankings. We've made it to Week 3 already. 2 weeks are now under the belt, so now we're starting to see a little bit of a trend on which teams are looking much better than others. And when we saw LSU last week play a really good game against Texas, and so they're obviously going to get bumped up. We're going to be going over our whole top 25 here. We're going to start off with 1 through 7, and we're going to work our way down from there. We're going to start off with Clemson, obviously. I mean, I don't know how you move them down after that great win over Texas A&M on Saturday. And then you got Alabama at number 2, same thing. Georgia's also at 3. They had an odd start in that game. Murray State kind of stuck with them for the first quarter or so. Georgia absolutely took off after that. 63-17, they won that game. So, Alabama and Georgia dropped 60 on both of their opponents. And they stay in their 3 positions, but we do have a lot of mixing up from here on out. Number 4 is now LSU. I agreed with the AP poll on here. I'm going to give LSU number 4. They played at Texas, and it was 45-31. It looked like it could finish off as. LSU played an amazing game. Really was impressed by that offense. Really was impressed by that defense. I think LSU, honestly, this could very well be their year. They went up 2. They jumped Ohio State and Oklahoma. Both of those teams dropped 1. And I've had Ohio State in front of Oklahoma all of the first 3 weeks of the season. The AP poll has Oklahoma in front of Ohio State. But I was, 70-14 against South Dakota. The thing is that Ohio State shut out Cincinnati, which Cincinnati is looking to be one of the best Group of 5 conference teams, pretty much of this season. But Cincinnati, they did lose their quarterback throughout the game. And so that could be a main part as to why, they shut him out, and that offense really wasn't able to do very much. Oklahoma and South Dakota, 70-14 was your score there. I'm going to keep it 5 and 6 for Ohio State and Oklahoma. For 7, it's going to be Florida. And I bet a lot of people are going to disagree with that. Notre Dame is at number 7 in the AP poll. The thing is, Florida, even though they didn't play a very good game against Miami a couple weeks ago, they did have a bye last week. I still got a lot of faith in this team. I think they can be great this year. I think they could make a run for the SEC. I'm going to give them number 7. But the thing is, though, coming into this week, you got to have a great game. If Florida if Florida shows signs that they are not a good football team, or if they have a close game when it's not supposed to be, then that's going to be a sign for me, and I'm probably going to knock them down in quite a few spots. Looking at number 8 through 14, we got Auburn at number 8. They played Tulane. Didn't look as good in that game, 24-6. It was a little closer than it probably should have been, but then again, Tulane's a Group of 5, or they're an American Athletic Conference team. So, I still think that's a win's a win in that situation. But for Auburn, I'm going to move them up 2 in this rankings. I'm very impressed with Utah so far. They played BYU, beat them on the road. That was a great win overall. And then BYU goes in and beats Tennessee this week too. So that was a great win. And you got Northern Illinois, another good win here, 35-17. I'm bumping them up 5 spots, and you guys may disagree with that, but I think Utah is a team that potentially has. They could very well make it to the Pac-12 championship. And if they go undefeated, by all means, they could make the playoff this season. That would surprise a lot of people. Utah, I think I've got a lot of faith in this team this season. I'm going to give them my number 9 position in Week 3. Michigan's going to be my number 10, and now I'm bumping this team down a little bit. Army, I understand Army, and they can be a good team, and I expected that game to actually be close. I thought either Michigan or Ohio State and Cincinnati would be close. And this game was the one to do that, and Army almost pulled it off. They were that close to pulling off a crazy upset against Michigan. And I had them at number 7 last week. I've bumped them down 3. They really have not impressed me the last couple weeks as much as, they should have. The 2 teams that they played, they should have won by much more. But nonetheless, they are 2-0, so that's all that matters. Then Notre Dame I've got at 11. I'm not as high on this Notre Dame team. They didn't look very good at Louisville a couple weeks ago. And also, coming off the last season, it's going to be an interesting situation there. They got a schedule that's definitely, they'll definitely have times to prove it, whether that they're a good team or not. For now, I'm going to keep them at number 11. I had them at 13 last week. I'm bumping them up just because Texas lost, of course. So yeah, that's why Texas is at number 12. I'm only bumping them down 4. I was very impressed with Texas, nonetheless, against LSU. And both teams looked excellent on Saturday night between those two teams. I think both of those teams could very well. I mean, Texas, looking at how good that they played, they will be able to compete with Oklahoma come once we get towards the end of the season or so. Well, Wisconsin's another team that's very much impressed me. They've put up about 100. I think they've put up about 130 points over the past couple of games. Actually, no, they put up like 40 something, I think, on South Florida. So it's just about 100. But the thing is, though, they have not let an opponent even score a point yet. They've shut out both Central Michigan and South Florida. That defense is looking stellar right now for Wisconsin, and then their offense, nonetheless, their offense is looking great too. Wisconsin's probably my new favorite to win the Big Ten West, just because of how good they're looking, especially at the beginning of the season. Things can change. We are very early on still, but yeah, just something to keep in mind there. But yeah, I'm very impressed with Wisconsin. That's why I moved them up 3. Penn State's my number 14. They played Buffalo, had an odd start there, but they ended up winning it 45-13. And nothing against them. I'm just bumping them down 2 because I think that Wisconsin looked better than Penn State this week, and they have so far this season, and so that's why Wisconsin jumped Penn State there. But yeah, now we've got Oregon, Texas A&M, Michigan State, Iowa, UCF, Washington State, and Maryland for 15 through 21. Oregon was much more impressive this week. They played Nevada at home 77-6. They dropped 77 on Nevada, so that was obviously a very more impressive win. There's a little bit of a slow start there as well, but then they really started to escalate once you hit the second quarter. But they are going up 2 in my Week 3 rankings. They are 1-1, of course, off after that loss against Auburn in Week 1. Texas A&M's number 16. They played at Clemson. Obviously that was a loss, but they still were able to keep with them for most of the game. They do move down 5 though. Michigan State's number 17. They played Western Michigan. Had a good game there. More of a blowout. Pretty impressive there. They're going up 1. I was actually going up 2 in these rankings. I kept them at 20 last week, but now I'm kind of starting to see them, and I'm kind of like, okay, I was a legit team. Their defense is looking great so far, especially, but offensively, there are a couple issues. It looks like, but 30-0, they do beat Miami, Ohio. Obviously, with the losses that Iowa had after last season, with the tight ends, that's just kind of bound to happen. But yeah, they're moving up to UCF number 19. They played Florida Atlantic on the road. Great performance there, 48-14. Nothing against them. I could have moved them up as well, but I'm keeping them at 19 for now. Washington State's number 20. They played Northern Colorado and blew them out. I'm at home, 59-17. They are going up 1 as well. And now we're kind of getting into the interesting part of the rankings, especially, Maryland. I don't know. That surprised me for sure. I never expected Maryland in a million years to perform the way that they have the last couple of games. They were a wreck at the end of last season with all the issues that they were having. And then all of a sudden you come into this year and they are absolutely dominating their opponents. They shut out Howard, I think, in their first week, like 79-0. Then they dropped 63 on Syracuse, and they beat them by 40 points. That is insane. And so they enter my rankings at 21. And the AP poll, they're 21 as well. So it is absolutely crazy what this team has been able to do the last couple of games. The real question is, will it be able to carry on into conference games? Will they be able to do that once the most important part of the season comes around? It's honestly a good question. We'll have to see. A really interesting team with Maryland there. That was a team that I really have not expected to do very well this season. I think in my prediction video for them, I was expecting 5 to 7 wins. Looks like right now they could far exceed that. But yeah, now looking at your final 4 on this rankings list: Washington, USC, Boise State, Virginia. We got 2 more entering the rankings on this slide. You got Washington at 22. They lost to California late last night, 20-19. That was a close one though, but they are moving down 7 because of it. You should not lose to California on your home turf. But yeah, now they're 1-1. USC enters the rankings after a dominant performance against Stanford on the road, 45-20, and they're 2-0 as well. Boise State played Marshall, and I consider putting them at 25 and moving Virginia to 24. But yeah, Boise State against Marshall, 14-7. You would not expect that after a great win on the road against Florida State. But then again, Florida State struggled with Louisiana Monroe. So Boise State has something more to prove, more than being a blowover conference or Power 5 team right now. But yeah, Boise State's got something to prove for sure. I mean, the struggle with Marshall at home, that just doesn't happen. But yeah, Virginia, then they play William and Mary, 52-17, easy win there. They're entering the rankings at 25. We had 3 teams drop out of the rankings last week. So yeah, we have had some changes, especially in the bottom part of these rankings. Syracuse was at number 22. They dropped out. Stanford was 23, and now they're dropped out as well. Nebraska, of course, being at 25 with their loss too. They are now out of the rankings as well. Their first 5 out right now: Iowa State at 26, Mississippi State 27, TCU 28, California 29, and North Carolina at 30. Who would have expected North Carolina to be as good as they are as well? Another very surprising team. They played South Carolina. I know they beat them in week 1, and they had another great win last week. I forget who they played. Yeah, North Carolina, wow, that is a very big surprise. Mac Brown is doing some great things down there. But yeah, let me know you guys' thoughts on this game, or on these rankings. Sorry, in the comments below. If you disagree with anything, be sure to let me know. I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts. I'll try to get back to as many of your guys' comments as possible. Stay tuned for some Week 3 previews coming soon. Also, I'll be going over some Week 2 NFL previews as well, and possibly some NFL Week 2 power rankings. I haven't decided whether I'll do that yet or not, but we'll have to see. Thank you guys all for watching, and stay tuned for more from All Sports Central.